Do you ever look at the National Pokedex and think, wow, some of you deserved better? Like we've got Charizard getting 3 forms, a tax break, and probably a Netflix special. Meanwhile, Cedar's over there like, hi, I exist too. Today, we're fixing that. We're going through every generation and picking one Pokemon that got done dirty. Either by history, the meta, or just the fandom's collective attention span, or lack thereof. So let's get started and give some forgotten little guys the love that they truly deserve. So hey, welcome back to the channel where we appreciate the weird, the wonderful, and the oh yeah, that thing is a thing side of Pokemon. If you're new here, I'm Chase, and I make videos that blend taking Pokemon way too seriously with the energy of someone that drank a full bottle of moo milk at 3 a.m. Actually, that might put you to sleep. Make it a soda pop, I don't know. Great, now I'm feeling kind of thirsty. Time to go block some gates. And if you're a Pokemon fan, whether you're an old school veteran like me or newer to the franchise, I think you'll find yourself right at home here. So if you've been watching for a while but haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and do that. I don't think you'll regret it. Anyway, today's mission is to talk about the Pokemon from each generation that are the most overlooked. So no Megas, no regional forms, and no, technically Flygon is underrated. Just the real neglected children of each era. So let's start where the obsession all began, Kanto. Gen 1 is obviously full of icons. Pikachu, Mewtwo, a rock with arms. But in the middle of all that sits Seadra, quietly being actually pretty cool. Here's the thing, Seadra feels like one of those Pokemon that was supposed to actually matter. It has a sleek design, solid stats, and this vibe of, I'm elegant, but I will stab you with my face. But Kanto players basically treated it like a stepping stone, except for the fact that Kingdra didn't even exist yet, so Seadra actually wasn't a stepping stone. It was just ignored. Which is kinda sad, because it's actually a solid water type that really only suffered from the existence of other flashier water types, and the fact that its more powerful evolution came one generation too late. It's like showing up to the party dressed to impress, only to realize everyone else is staring at the guy who can shoot water out of his back while hollering his own name. Seadra deserved better. It's the middle child of Kanto water types who we all collectively forgot to pick up from soccer practice. Johto is the land of chill. You've got cozy forests, relaxing music, and Pokemon that look like they were designed during a peaceful afternoon tea. And then there's Girafarig. And it looks like 2 Pokemon got fused together because the designer loaded up on Mountain Dew instead of green tea and couldn't decide which one they liked more. Oh, and by the way, did you know Girafarig's name is actually a palindrome, meaning that it's spelled the same forwards and backwards? Also interesting is that, as seen in the Space World 97 demo, it was originally intended to be a dark normal type, having an entire reverse half of its front side, with a pre-evolved form whose name in Japanese just meant twins. But anyway, here's the tragedy of Girafarig. It's actually good. Normal Psychic is a fun typing. It has a surprisingly deep move pool, and it's one of the few Pokemon that can say, yes, my tail has a face, and no, I don't want to talk about it. Yet, nobody used it. Nobody talked about it. Nobody remembered that it even existed until Farigiraf showed up in Gen 9 like, hey, remember your weird giraffe friend? We fixed it. Girafarig walked so Farigiraf could run, and we didn't even notice. Gen 3 is stacked. Hoenn gave us Salamence, Metagross, Gardevoir, Flygon. The entire gen is a fan favorite factory. And in the corner is Torkoal, a fire-type tortoise that smokes more than a cranky 1970s school bus driver named Bertha.
Alright, I'll see you little rats on Monday. Hopefully never.
Torkoal is tanky, hits surprisingly hard with Eruption, and has one of the most unique designs in the region. But during Gen 3, nobody cared. It was too slow, too weird, why does this thing look like it's late for its shift at the coal mine? It wasn't until competitive players discovered that Torkoal was basically the sun-summoning equivalent of a nuclear reactor that people went, oh wait, this thing is cracked. But that was years later. In its home generation, Torkoal was treated like the Pokemon equivalent of a gas station hot dog. Technically available, but nobody's first choice. So on to Gen 4. It's like when Game Freak was making these games, they said, what if we made a bug type that's actually terrifying? So they gave us Vespiquen, a literal queen bee with command-based moves like Attack Order and Defend Order. This thing is metal. It's regal. It's powerful. It's also locked behind a 12.5% chance of finding a female Combee. which is basically the game saying, you want this? Work for it. And most players said, no thanks, I'll just use Staraptor again. But Vespiquen has flavor for days. It has lore, personality, and a moveset that feels like it came straight out of a strategy RPG. But Sinnoh is full of heavy hitters, and Vespiquen got overshadowed by literally everything else with wings. It deserved a throne. Instead, it got a folding chair in the back of the bug-type lineup. Unova is the generation where Game Freak said, what if we made 150 completely new Pokemon and didn't let you use any of the old ones? Which generated some controversy. But honestly, it worked. But amongst the chaos of Zoroark, Volcarona, Hydreigon, and all the other notable Pokemon of Gen 5's completely stacked roster, we lost track of Seismitoad. Water Ground is an amazing typing, just ask Swampert. And Seismitoad has a cool, bouncy frog drummer aesthetic. It gets Swift Swim, which doubles speed during rain, it gets poison moves, it gets utility, it's genuinely versatile. But because it wasn't a starter, a dragon, or a living chandelier, it got shoved into the, oh yeah, that thing category. So yeah, Seismitoad's kind of like that song you love, but only remember once a year when it's playing in a grocery store at 11 p.m. It's good. It's fun. It just never gets invited to the party. Kalos is the land of elegance. Mega evolutions, fairy types, fashion, Francais. And then there's Gourgeist, a spooky pumpkin ghost with 4 different sizes, like it's a Starbucks drink order. Gourgeist is creative as heck. It has personality. It has a signature move. It has a whole Halloween-themed identity. But Kalos also has Aegislash, Greninja, Talonflame, Sylveon, the list goes on. So Gourgeist got overshadowed by everything else around it. Gourgeist is one of the most flavorful designs in the entire franchise, and yet it's treated like seasonal decor. Loved in October, back in the garage by November. Alola gave us some of the most beloved Pokemon ever. Rowlet, Mimikyu, and Cineroar, and a huge list of strange and/or terrifying monsters from another dimension. And then there's Toucanon, who wakes up every morning and chooses violence. While the toucan on the cereal box is following its nose, Toucanon is following its instinct to peck your freaking eyeballs out. This bird is angry. Its beak heats up like a microwave. Its signature move is basically, I'm gonna punch you with my face. It hits like a truck and looks like it's one bad day away from starting a multicolored tropical riot. But because it's just the regional bird, and not a cute one, people just ignored it. It's not cuddly, it's not super unique in terms of design, it's just a furious toucan with a cannon for a mouth. Toucanon deserved to be an icon. Instead, it's just the Pokemon equivalent of that coworker who's always mad, but everyone's too afraid to ask why. Galar is full of big personalities, cool and dangerous looking designs, and several Pokemon that became instant fan favorites. Dragapult, Corviknight, Obstagoon, and many, many more. You know, the whole I'm sophisticated but I'm ready to rip your guts out in a polite British way kind of thing. And then there's Appleton, a dragon that's also a pie. Yeah. A literal pie. A dessert dragon. Not a desert dragon. That spot's already taken. It's a creature that looks like it should be sold at a bakery, not used in battle. But Appleton is adorable, tanky, and surprisingly strong. It has a unique typing, great lore, and a design seemingly ready-made for selling plushies like hotcakes. Or, pies, I guess. But because it's slow, round, and shaped like a snack, people wrote it off. Plus, you've got Dragapult over here being a cool ghost dragon stealth bomber with baby launchers. Appleton is wholesome, it's creative, it's underappreciated, and honestly, it's deliciously underrated. Paldea said, let's get weird, and Rabska said, hold my Diet Dr. Pepper. This thing is a psychic-type scarab beetle lugging around its own soul like a dung ball. That's just peak Pokemon weirdness. Rabska also has a cool signature move, a unique role as a defensive wall with good special attack, and a design that feels like it came straight out of the Valley of the Kings. But because it evolves from Relor, a crap bug, most players never bothered. Rabska is one of the most conceptually interesting Pokemon in Gen 9, but it got overshadowed by the starters, the Paradox forms, and really just about everything else in Scarlet and Violet. It's strange, it's spiritual, it's forgotten, and it deserves better. So there you have it, the most overlooked Pokemon from each generation. Not the worst, not the weakest, just those that deserve more love than they got. So hey, if you enjoyed this deep dive into Pokemon's red-headed stepchildren, be sure to hit the like button, I'd really appreciate it. And also, I'd like to hear from you. Which Pokemon do you think deserve more attention? Let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll feature them in a future video. Oh, and let me know if you want a part 2 or a video on the most overrated Pokemon. Cause believe me, I've got thoughts. As always, thanks a lot guys, and I'll see you in the next video. A crap bug